Hey there, welcome back to Twisted Hood. Here, we unravel the most fascinating and gripping crime stories that will keep you hooked. If you're as obsessed with true crime as we are, show some love by hitting that like button, dropping a comment, and subscribing to the channel. Trust us, you won't want to miss the twists and turns we have coming your way. Imagine a nation at war, on the verge of dismemberment. Amidst the chaos of 1971, as Pakistan braced for the birth of Bangladesh, a different kind of battle raged, not on the front lines, but on the front pages of every newspaper. For 2 years, while war raged and a nation was torn apart, a scandalous tale of love, betrayal, and mysterious death captivated the Pakistani public, pushing even war news to the sidelines. This is the story of Mustafa Hasnan Zaidi and Shahnaz Gul, a story shrouded in mystery even after 54 years. This wasn't just any story, it was a phenomenon. Newspapers were sometimes banned to shield children from its sensational details. This was Pakistan's biggest ever sex scandal, its most mysterious death. The protagonists, a stunningly beautiful woman, and a man who had migrated from Allahabad, India after the partition. A celebrated poet whose friends included literary giants like Faiz Ahmed Faiz and Josh Malahabadi. This man, Zaidi, wasn't just a poet. He was a high-ranking civil servant, a former district commissioner of Lahore, a man of immense stature and influence. From his youth, Mustafa Hasnan Zaidi was drawn to poetry. After partition, his family relocated to Pakistan, where he excelled academically, joined the civil service, and rose to prominence. He married a German woman, had 2 children, and seemed to have it all. But fate intervened in a Karachi club where he met Shahnaz Gul. Known for her breathtaking beauty, Shahnaz was married to a man much older than herself, a former army officer named Salim. At their first meeting, Zaidi was utterly captivated by Shahnaz. Obsessed, he pursued her relentlessly, using his influence to invite Salim and Shahnaz to exclusive parties. Initially oblivious, Salim eventually became aware of a growing intimacy between his wife and the powerful civil servant. Rumors spread like wildfire. Then a blow. Zaidi was among 300 civil servants dismissed on corruption charges. This setback did not deter him from his pursuit of Shahnaz. He wanted her to leave her family and elope with him, even suggesting they move abroad. But Shahnaz refused to abandon her family, creating a painful impasse. As time passed, Zaidi sensed Shahnaz pulling away. She avoided his calls and declined his invitations. A trip she took to Germany deepened the distance between them, fueling his frustration and anger. These personal dramas unfolded against the backdrop of escalating political turmoil in Pakistan. The 1970 elections and the subsequent crackdown on East Pakistan, the brewing conflict with India, these were the headlines dominating the news. Then came October 13, 1970. Zaidi was at his home, his phone constantly engaged. Concerned friends tried to reach him, but the line remained busy. One even contacted the telephone exchange, only to be told the phone was indeed in use. Meanwhile, Salim was growing increasingly worried. His wife, Shahnaz, had vanished. Both Zaidi and Shahnaz were missing. Salim's suspicions led him to Zaidi's house. The doors were locked from the inside, and no one answered his knocks. The phone continued to ring busy. Torn between fear and embarrassment, Salim hesitated to report his wife's disappearance to the police. Finally, the next morning he filed a report, mentioning his suspicion that Shahnaz might be with Zaidi. The police, aware of Zaidi's prominent position, accompanied Salim to his house. They found the doors locked, the phone still engaged. In the presence of witnesses, they forced entry. Inside, they found Zaidi lying motionless on his bed, dressed as if he were about to go out. Near the door lay Shahnaz, also unconscious. The phone receiver was off the hook, explaining the continuously busy signal. The room was in disarray, suggesting a struggle. Both were rushed to the hospital. Zaidi was declared dead. He had just celebrated his 41st birthday. Shahnaz survived. An examination of the room revealed numerous sleeping pills. The post-mortem confirmed that Zaidi had ingested a large quantity of them. Shahnaz had taken a different type of pill. The initial assumption was a suicide pact gone wrong. The news exploded. A young, celebrated poet and a beautiful socialite. It was a story tailor-made for the tabloids. Even as news of the war in East Pakistan unfolded, this scandal held its own on the front pages. The question on everyone's mind: was this a suicide, a murder, or was there a third party involved? The police investigation began, initially focusing on the suicide theory. However, Zaidie's family insisted that he had been murdered, pointing the finger at Shanaz. They argued that the different types of pills, Zaidie's attire suggesting he was about to leave, and the disarray of the room contradicted the suicide theory. The case went to court, and the police were ordered to submit a report within 2 weeks. Under pressure, the police conducted a thorough search of Zaidie's house, uncovering 4,000 pamphlets featuring topless pictures of Shanaz. They also found a diary in which Zaidie had referred to her as the Karachi Christine Keeler, a reference to a British model involved in a political scandal. This discovery shifted the focus of the investigation towards blackmail. In November 1970, Shanaz Gul was arrested, accused of Zaidie's murder. The arrest ignited a media frenzy. Every detail of Shanaz's life was scrutinized. Every time she was transported between jail and court, she was besieged by photographers. The trial became a national obsession. Finally, in May 1972, after 2 years of intense scrutiny, the court delivered its verdict. While the evidence pointed to a complex relationship and possible motives, there was no conclusive proof of murder. The court acquitted Shanaz Gul. After spending nearly 18 months behind bars, she walked free. In a defiant gesture, she faced the cameras directly, without attempting to hide her face, a stark contrast to her previous appearances. But the story didn't end there. In 2000, a small news item reported the quiet death of Shanaz Gul. The woman who had once dominated the headlines died in relative obscurity. The mystery surrounding Zaidie's death remains unsolved. Some believe Shanaz was responsible, while others suspect a third party was involved. What truly happened that night in October 1970 remains shrouded in mystery, a dark chapter in Pakistan's history. A tale of love, betrayal, and a death that continues to haunt the national consciousness. That's it in this crime thriller episode. We'll be back soon with more such exciting crime stories. Until then, take care of yourself, stay healthy, and make sure to hit that subscribe button so you're ready for what's next. See you soon.